Alright, so this is a game I'm playing Pantheon. We try kind of a funky setup, which is Pantheon and Jax, Tank Jax. One of my roommates decided he was playing Tank Jax, which I mean, it works. Our comp works. Uh, the biggest problem I will say, as far as the combo, we'll get into it a little bit. It's a little bit of a bizarre combo, and doesn't work on everything. Just because, well, I think it will work. I think it would work on most things, but a lot of it comes down to the fact that uh, I have to hold a bit more than I want to, in terms of actually putting guys down. It's a bit tougher, just because Jax doesn't really have the best capabilities in certain matchups that, and it's part of the reason why I don't really like Jax, and why you don't really see, why I think he's not really utilized very much, is because of the fact that he's kind of gamey and relies on people having to auto attack him, and that's a very, very tough thing to have happen. So I should probably get into this. So my one of my roommates is mating as Kennen. The other one's playing Jax with me, and then Squishy, my third roommate, is playing Tristana, and then we have a Brand, who's just some random stranger guy, against a Vayne, a Nasus, an Udyr, an Annie, and a Rumble. This is after Vayne's slight nerf, I'm pretty sure. And, after Rumble had whatever got happened to him, where they decreased his hitbox. Uh, so I play Pantheon. I've played him a lot. He's one of the champs that every once in a while I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna pick him up and see if I can still do what I do with him. And I always, and it's always been like clockwork. Every time I pick him up, it seems to work fine. He's kind of a weird champ. He's got really good damage. People say he's not very good, and I'm the first person to try and defend that. Defend Pantheon, because he's honestly a very, very strong champion. His Oh shit, I didn't buy it. Right, I forgot to get the health potion. That was the one thing I forgot, and I think I told my roommate, was like, oh yeah, I forgot one too, and he poured it back. Uh, but in any case, the biggest factor and the reason why Pantheon is really, really amazing, is because of how good his damage output is early game, which they kind of nerfed a little bit. But when you can kill someone at level 1 with Exhaust Ignite and your Q pretty fast, without having to throw too many Qs, and honestly just being able to put it on someone pretty fast, it's a little bit insane. So I kind of understand the nerf slightly. However, I do agree that he can be a little bit underpowered in some cases, but he's playable still. And honestly, even though I would say he's one of the most predictable champions in the game, him, Tryndamere, and a couple other people, because Pantheon, his rotation. He's going to Q you, then jump at you to stun you, and then roll his E. And that's pretty much what he does. He doesn't have to do that, and yeah, he even though the combo's coming, it doesn't mean you can stop it. And that's the factor, the one reason why I like playing him. I like to see if people can counter me. I like to see if people know what I'm gonna do, if they can actually stop me. And that's the fun part about playing champs like that. And to an extent, every champ is that way. Every champ has a predictable rotation and all of that. So anyway, you see, let's see, he's got a boots and 3 health potions. The reason why my roommate does that is he likes to be able to get into position pretty easily. Oh, I remember this game. So this game's kind of a hilarious game. You're going to see some very, very fun stuff in this game. One thing you'll get to see, and is the reason why I like Pantheon, is I excel at putting pressure on people and knowing who to hit. So the first thing you read when you look at these two champs, and I did this, is 20 armor, 31 magic resist on the Rumble, 25 armor, 51 magic resist on the Nasus, and the Nasus has lifesteal. So that's why you see me only hitting the Rumble. And of course I tell my roommate, only hit the Rumble, because what's going to happen is the Rumble is going to get very, very low, and he can't do anything because he doesn't have a legitimate heal. One of the deficiencies of Rumble is that he doesn't have good health. He doesn't have health regen, really. So he's regenning pretty slowly. Based on his Masteries and Rune setup, though, he has the least armor, and that's why I'm shooting at him. Why I'm putting damage on him as much as I can, because I try to play Pantheon as a high armor pen champ. You see me just throwing Qs at him. I hit 2. I start pressing the Rumble. You see me kind of back off a little bit. Now I throw one at the Nasus to make sure the Nasus understands that I'm putting pressure. I think this is the point where I'm like, I ask my roommate if he's okay, you know, if he's good and we can keep pressuring, because one of the key points with the way that I play Pantheon is I like to play aggressive. I like to try to go for that first blood. I like to put it on them and try to make sure that the enemy champs understand that I'm not this crazy squishy champ that can be taken out as easily. So you see me kind of go for it. I ignite him, throw that. He's dead in one shot. Now you see him focusing my roommate. Kind of a dumb move on his part. I net the double. Kind of go through that really fast. What happens? I exhaust ignite the Rumble immediately. It's the first thing you do. The reason why is it boosts your damage with the exhaust because I spec it. And then the ignite is just handy because it just does a little bit of extra damage and it's DOT. So if they walk away from you and you can still hit them, and you can't necessarily hit them, if you put enough damage on them, it'll kill them. The mistake that the Nasus made in that play, he was trying to take out the Jax because he figured the Jax got low. He even exhausted him. You don't want to blow the exhaust on the person that is trying to run away. Also, to be honest with you, if he actually checked it, I do more damage than the Jax at base, and to be honest, I have a move that comes back so fast, and I'm actually mostly physical. Jax, you know, my roommate can't necessarily run crazy high damage in the beginning. I'm going to do. I'm the one who's going to end up doing a lot more damage, and that's sort of what's going on here. Is you'll see. They don't really pick their focus targets very well. One of the tips to how you, I guess I can kind of share this, how you shut me down, is don't give me the opportunity to pick that focus target. Don't you know, keep in mind that exhausting the guy who's actually doing all the damage will matter more, because you're gonna stop them, you're gonna make them do a little bit less damage, and if you're spec'd, you're gonna make it so that they take a lot more damage. It's one of those handy little things. Of course, this Nasus doesn't realize that. Neither does the Rumble. I'm also pretty sure this Nasus doesn't go tank, and neither. Well, actually, the Nasus. So now I'm looking at the Nasus because I realized that we have good burst on him, so I can kind of put it on him a little. Also, because the Rumble's been missing this whole time, I've been just constantly pegging the Nasus. Now, obviously, Rumble's back, so I call Re on him. So two things have just happened. One, Rumble has gone down in level and is very behind in level, and he buys a magic resist item. Very clearly not knowing what I can do. One of the biggest things is I'm playing a champ who does physical damage, so you buy armor to counter me, and that's basically the key point of it. He bought a lot of health potions, which matters a little bit, but I'm also a high burst physical champion. That's the other factor to why this is just hilarious. And so this is the problem that happens in some games. If your tanks, whichever of you is the actual tank, is not actually tanking properly, meaning you can't get inside at all, you're not gaining any level. You're losing out on experience. And this is basically what happens this game is I get it to the point where honestly it doesn't matter. Where yeah, this is what happens. I know where everyone is. I'm just constantly putting shots on the Rumble, trying to put him down. You know, just trying to put a little bit of damage on him. And it's working because he has to keep backing off. I think he eventually decides he needs to pop a health potion. One of the things about health potions in this game, you know, anybody knows, is that it takes time for it to heal you back. To be honest with you, the rate at which it heals isn't fast enough for this. As you see, I just keep throwing Qs at him. The Nasus isn't doing anything to stop me. It's actually one of those funny things. Like, if you're actually playing and you're a physical champ, I would have expected him to break the. See, I blocked that one. Like, and now he finally starts breaking my block. And I get it back pretty fast, obviously, if I'm normal hitting and I'm throwing. There you see the Q toss. This is the stupid mistake he makes. He gets out of range again, and there's the problem. The Rumble stepped too far forward. It's kind of a sad moment when that happens, but it's pretty awesome. Basically, don't come back in when you have a tank there who can't actually hold someone in place. And then you see him healing up a little bit. And now I'm 6, so I can do jumps now. I can actually go back if I want, but I think I stay. I don't remember what happens, but I'm pretty sure they start realizing they have to shut me down. One of the key things that makes Pantheon really awesome is his early game. His early game damage is so high that it's very hard to stop him. Really good tanks can do it. If they actually decide to buy armor, he's pretty fucked. It's the same reason why I try to go high armor Pantheon. Sorry, excuse me, kind of burped there in the mic. Because high armor Pantheon basically means extremely high damage, and also you don't have to really think about the fact that their guys are getting armor. Let's see, what does he get in this? So I killed the Rumble. He hasn't really bought anything interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see Rumble because a lot of people tend to build Rumble not as a tank, but you know, I called Rumble missing. He's still there. I'm pretty sure the Nasus is also still there. So at this point, things are kind of funky. I'm going back because you know, I'm making decent headway. Nasus is at mid. We're doing pretty good, I think. Apparently, I am actually lower level than, or I'm actually higher level. Me and my roommate who's playing the Jax are actually higher level than even our mids are a little bit. A lot of that comes down to getting fed really badly. Or at least that's based on the visual. I'm pretty sure that's not actually true. We'll find out, I'm sure, in a second. Oh, here's the fun part. So I dropped my ult down. I'm ulting in just to get back into lane. He flashes, burning his flash. At this stage of the game, I don't really care about the using my ult because I don't. That's the one deficiency in my setup is I don't carry teleport, so I can't get back to. The best way for me to get back to lane is ult. Yeah, it takes an extremely long time to ult. But in this particular game, we're dominating so hard, and nobody really needed ult help anywhere. And I always check that to see if I need to help somebody out. Nobody really needs help, so I decided to come back, and I'm just gonna try to feed off of these two guys who can't really do anything against me. So fun part: the Nasus is obviously shooting Sheen, and he's got a health regen item. I don't really understand why he hasn't built armor.